Thanks, Rhoda. I'd like to start by saying thank you very much to the cross-party group for asking me to speak this afternoon. I just want to note that I think it's really important that, given the current collective focus on men's violence against women, that we use this opportunity to ensure that the harm caused to women by the sex industry is explicitly included within our current discussions and calls for systemic change to ensure fairness, justice and equality for all women caught up in systems of prostitution. I'm here today on behalf of Roots Out and the Tara service. For those who do not know us, Roots Out is a Glasgow City Council service supporting women involved in prostitution within the city, most of whom are engaged in street prostitution, but with a smaller number involved off-street. This service focuses on harm reduction and supporting women to leave prostitution when they wish to do so, and has provided services since 1989. Roots Out have worked with 73 women since April. The Tara service is funded by the Scottish Government to support women identified across Scotland where there are concerns they have been trafficked for commercial sexual exploitation. We have been supporting women since 2005. Support now includes crisis accommodation, financial support and access to health, legal and psychological services. Since April last year, we have worked with 93 women. We welcome the findings of this inquiry and share concerns around the huge growth of such websites which profit from the sexual exploitation of the women we support and enables trafficked and other vulnerable women to be hidden in plain sight and yet openly advertised to sex buyers in Scotland. Both services are acutely aware of the short and longer term impacts these sites have on women's health, recovery and dignity. Our services are focused on meeting women's crisis and longer term needs, so we would not describe ourselves as experts in such websites or as being hugely familiar with their business operations. However, we do know the impact on women of prostitution and the challenges to women's physical and psychological safety whilst involved, and the barriers to women's experiences when trying to exit and recover. A scoping exercise carried out by the Glasgow Violence Against Women Partnership in 2017 highlighted that women might not be in control of the profiles written about them online, with women also telling us that whilst adverts were placed by them directly, often they were following the instructions of others that were coercing and exploiting them. A number of women Tara have supported have been aware that they were advertised on websites, with others telling us that other social media apps such as WeChat, Tinder, Facebook and Twitter have been used not only to recruit and deceive them, but to advertise them to sex buyers. Others are unaware of being advertised online, but disclose photographs being taken and express alarm at not knowing if these images are on the internet. All of these women experience harm at the hands of sex buyers and traffickers. Roots Out have worked with women who agreed to adverts being placed, but did not understand the terminology used or fully know what sexual services were expected of them. They felt unable to say no to any acts or bookings that they weren't comfortable with. Given the pandemic, Roots Out have kept a regular eye on online adverts over the last year, and have noticed with interest that on one site there has been a trend for men to place adverts seeking sexual services. Last week on this site, 33 men posted seeking sex acts compared to 3 women advertising sexual services. Some of the less explicit examples of the adverts from men include: any female doing car meets in Glasgow Paisley, looking for ASAP, will pay fair but not OTT. You state the rates at the start to save the fence and time, not looking for AW prices. Car BJ wanted, females only, compensation to be discussed. Need a female today, must have a good mouth. I will pay good money, £50. I can't accommodate, so either your place or car. 100% genuine Scottish male. Looking for a female model for private pics, just for my own collection. No experience necessary. Must be willing to do underwear and nude. Will pay cash. We know that traffickers use a business model from trading and exploiting women, and that trafficking and pimping women for sexual exploitation remains a low risk but high profit crime. A very rough, basically back of an envelope calculation, which was conservatively done based on the 93 women that Tara have supported this year, indicates that if they were each sexually exploited for 12 months, then sex buyers would have spent just over £7.25 million. For trafficked women, this money goes directly into the hands of the perpetrators. We support all efforts to disrupt and shrink the market, and whilst the other speakers today are the experts, it is clear to us that by minimising advertising income and therefore the appeal for third-party websites, it will make it harder for traffickers to profit from this demand. Traffickers need to connect women with sex buyers, so we need to place as many barriers in their way as possible. Facilitating easier access to women has arguably created an increase in profits for perpetrators. There is a reason that Scotland is a destination country for organised crime groups and opportunistic individuals. We need to create a hostile environment, but one that is not exclusively focused on our criminal justice response. One of the main reasons for involvement or being trafficked into the sex industry is poverty, including debts being exploited by third parties as a grooming or coercion tool. What both Tara and Roots Out know is that the women we support rarely, if ever, have any money or savings. As I said earlier, nearly all of the women that our services support come to us in destitution with limited to no financial resources. They do not profit or benefit from their exploitation, so it's appalling that online third-party sites do. Disrupting the operations of such sites is essential given the serious harm caused to women, but we believe this must be undertaken within a context where specialist prevention, harm reduction and exiting support is well resourced and widely accessible across Scotland. Any approach must also make the links with wider gender inequalities alongside challenging demand for those paying for sex and disrupting the activities of organised crime groups and individual abusers who seek to profit from the exploitation of women. We wholeheartedly support the Encompass Network's proposed Scottish model to prevent and eradicate prostitution, which advocates 7 key steps necessary to create societal change and ensure women are protected and with their human rights upheld. Our aim to prevent and eradicate commercial sexual exploitation and the harm caused to women requires a comprehensive model to tackle demand and support women, placing them at the heart of our efforts, but which also takes action against the wider inequalities and systems which currently exist and enable profit from this form of violence against women. Thank you very much.